Thank you for joining me here on WCNC Plus. I'm Colin Mayfield. Right now, we're in the final countdown to the 2024 election as candidates look to gain the votes of those who have yet to cast their ballots. A new lawsuit by the ACLU claims that thousands of South Carolina voters may have been left off the rolls. Here's WCNC Charlotte's Caitlin Hagwood.
Well, in South Carolina, 17-year-olds that would be 18 by Election Day should be able to register to vote right from the DMV. But one mom I spoke to says that wasn't the case for her son, and the ACLU is saying she's not alone. When Kate Counts and her son Noah went to the South Carolina DMV, they hoped to kill two birds with one stone. Get her son's driver's license and get him registered to vote.
When we marked on the form for him to be registered, I did ask the person working at the DMV if that was all we needed to do to make sure that he was registered to vote. They told me yes.
But months later, she says they were shocked to find out that registration never happened.
Went on scvotes.gov just to check and see if he was registered to vote. And sure enough, when I put his information, nothing came up.
The whole ordeal now sparking a lawsuit by the American Civil Liberties Union, with the organization suing the DMV and State Election Commission over what they say are more than 17,000 similar cases of 17-year-olds who would be 18 by Election Day not getting registered.
And if thousands of young first-time voters are only not able to vote because of an error at the DMV, that would be a profound miscarriage of justice.
In a statement to WCNC Charlotte, the DMV said it's aware of the concerns, adding, quote, the agency is working with the State Election Commission on possible ways to remedy the issue and encouraging South Carolina residents to verify their voter registration information through the State Election Commission's website.
The ball is really in the court of the Election Commission and the courts now to determine how to get those impacted voters registered and eligible to cast ballots on Election Day.
Despite the challenge, Count says her son was able to register before the deadline and will be casting his ballot November 5th. She's hoping the suit will help other young voters be able to cast their ballots too.
We really don't want them to think that it was their fault, that they did something wrong on their part. So when we did see the lawsuit, yes, we were angry, but at the same time, we were relieved.
Well, the ACLU continues to push to have any potentially affected voters included by Election Day. We reached out to the State Election Commission for comment on if that would be possible and have not heard back.
Confidence in elections is key. And in North Carolina, a nonprofit is working to bring back that confidence in this critical swing state. And as WCNC Charlotte's Julie Kay reports, former Governor Pat McCrory is leading that effort.
Nonprofit Right Count wants to make sure all voters feel secure about it. I caught up with the former governor about why this is so important as he was filming ads for this new campaign.
My gosh, now more than ever, we need more civics.
Former North Carolina Governor Pat McCrory knows civics.
I want to be involved in a process which basically teaches the civics of voting.
He also knows doubt.
Because I've done it.
A feeling he had in 2016.
I've had doubts before.
When he lost re-election to Governor Cooper by just 10,000 votes.
But then as I examined the process, I began to trust the system, win or lose. And that's very, very important for our democratic process.
But that doubt he saw from others in 2020 is doubt he and nonprofit Right Count want to leave out of 2024.
It's important for folks to know that we don't have widespread voter fraud.
Joining the effort, Matthew Ridenauer, the Mecklenburg County Commissioner during McCrory's tight race for re-election. He's watched close elections and watched changes come in to help.
1, we have voter ID. 2, we have paper ballots that back up our electronic voting. And then 3, our machines are not connected to the internet.
Spreading this news, extra important amongst conservatives like McCrory. A WRAL news poll from September showed less than half of Republicans in the state have some or full confidence that votes will be counted correctly. That's compared to nearly 90% of Democrats.
Regardless of the outcome of the election, we want them to support the results, even if the results don't go their way.
McCrory not letting those numbers sway his confidence in the process, but seeing it as his civic duty.
If we quit trusting it, it collapses.
To instill this trust in others. And those ads he was filming will start airing soon and potentially even after the election results are out. He also says he looks forward to working with other red count leaders in battleground states like Arizona.
So in most states, the Secretary of State is responsible for overseeing the election. But in North Carolina, that job is done by the State Board of Elections. Instead, the Secretary of State's task was strengthening the state's economy and working with businesses. Flashpoint anchor Ben Thompson sat down with both major candidates running for the office this November. Here's his conversation with current Secretary of State Elaine Marshall.
Secretary Marshall, thanks for joining us. Thanks for coming back on the show. Good to see you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity.
As you know, you are no stranger to elections. You've been in public office now, I think about almost 30 years now. Why?
When you combine, yes, yeah.
Yeah, why do you want to stay in this job 4 more years?
Well, certainly it's fun, it's challenging, and I'm really hitting my stride on rural economic development. Our rural-urban divide is just really unconscionable. We have counties that are on the point of almost dying. Young people don't come back. It's a terrible thing for families. It's a brain drain. And we need their leadership. We need economic opportunity to grow from within, because a lot of these counties are not going to attract an industry that's going to come and hire 100, 200, 300 for a whole variety of reasons. So it's got to be homegrown businesses. And my program, Rural Rise, RISE, stands for Resources for Innovators, Startups, and Entrepreneurs. Now, the information that we're spoon feeding these people that form new businesses is not unique to rural areas. Urban areas need it also. So the same information that we're pushing out there is good for every business, startups and older ones. But we're particularly emphasizing the rural area because the ecosystem for entrepreneurs is not very thick. It's thin in these areas, and people don't know that there are resources that the state, federal, and other governments, nonprofits provide to them in a lot of cases for free to get started. So there's a wealth of information out there, but a lot of entrepreneurs do not know about it. And so we're trying to help them learn and particularly get them credit worthy so that if they need a loan, they can go get it, and help them with government regulations, because business counselors can help them fill out the forms that they find just almost impossible to fill out. So there are trained people out there to help, but people don't know it. So we're trying to be the big microphone, because we're the very first one who knows when somebody wakes up in the morning and says, today's the day I'm going to start my business.
We touched on it before your interview. A lot of people hear Secretary of State and they think you're a foreign diplomat. But if they think something else, they probably think you're in charge of elections. Explain what it is. You touched on it in your first response, but explain exactly the responsibility of Secretary of State in North Carolina and why it's so different than what people may expect it to be.
Right. Our mission is to support economic development in this state. And we do that through the formation of businesses, LLCs, corporations. We do that by supporting the bank lending database of liens called Uniform Commercial Code documents. We do that through the notary program, which is administered here. And in some of these areas, I have law enforcement authority. We do that through vetting out investment opportunities that are being offered to North Carolina, and actually regulate all of the stockbrokers and investment advisors in this state, and have law enforcement authority if some of them become rogue, or the people that are just not licensed at all, that are pure out and out crooks. We have law enforcement authority to go after them as they attempt to scam North Carolinians, particularly seniors. And we do a lot of education with seniors to kind of raise their awareness about the kind of things that they should be looking for when they're approached to make an investment. So we have a lot of business infrastructure. We also assist the registers of deeds with land records and some of their contracting and indexing to make sure that there's a consistency across the state. So there are 200 different statutes. And you did mention international, and we do have some small statutes for that. And we have international functions and protocol here. But we are infrastructure for a lot of the business functions of this state. Every day, people look at our database to make buy, sell, lend, borrow, invest, insure decisions to make sure they're doing their due diligence. Banks are a heavy user of our office to do the due diligence before they open an account, and just on and on and on. We support a lot of businesses in small puzzle piece ways so that they can have adequate business information to make an informed decision.
You've said several times that cybersecurity, one of your biggest priorities in your job. Elaborate on what your office can keep doing going into a next term if you are elected.
Well, cybersecurity is a race without a finish line. So cybersecurity has always got to be top of mind. You mentioned international. There are foreign actors who do think that the Secretary of State's office in a state can be a conduit to the federal Secretary of State's office, and certainly nothing is further from the truth than that. But we have valuable data information here. We have some confidential information, and cybersecurity is number one. We are constantly testing and self-evaluating, have third-party validators to come test and see where vulnerabilities might be. We believe in redundancy. We believe in multiple layers of protection. We have some, I can't tell you too much about some of them because that would be giving away the farm, but we have ways of telling if someone approaching our website is coming from an international source and that the computer that they're using is either in Chinese or Cyrillic or some other language. We have pattern detectors when folks come and try to get the open information that we have, but they have kind of suspicious patterns. We can identify those kinds of things.
You were the first woman elected. You were the first woman elected to statewide position, statewide office back in 1996. Do you consider yourself a trailblazer?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I know that I've opened doors for a lot of other women. Some I know, and a lot of them I don't know. It's amazing when somebody stops me on the street, a mom, a dad, and introduces me to their daughter or granddaughter and say, she opened doors for you. She achieved one of the highest levels in this state. Just to show them what a person is like, that we're not some kind of robot or something, to be in these offices, that we're human beings, and that personal touch is very, very, very important to identify, have other people identify with you if possible, that you're a real life human being. And I'm a farm girl from Maryland. I was not raised in this state. I didn't go to school in the state until I went to Campbell University. I don't have those networks. So if you work hard and you have a good game plan and a good education, you can achieve in this state. And I think that's what parents and grandparents want to show their daughters in particular.
Let me ask you the other end of that question, and it's a hard question to ask, but a lot's been made about age when it comes to presidential candidates. Do you think age should be a factor in deciding people's elected office?
Well, I think experience is what matters. And with age comes experience and wisdom. And as long as you demonstrate that you're physically able and mentally capable, that should not be an issue. I'm blessed with pretty good genes. I come from a family of long livers, and I'm just here for, I've got the energy to do the job, the intellectual capacity, and of course I surround myself with good people who know my mission and know how to accomplish that.
Secretary of State Elaine Marshall. Secretary, thanks for coming on. Good to speak to you again.
Thank you very much.
Republican Chad Brown is known pretty well around these parts. He's the former mayor of Stanley and current chairman of the Gaston County Board of Commissioners. He's now looking to become the first Republican Secretary of State in North Carolina since 1877. Here's his conversation with Flashpoint anchor Ben Thompson.
Joining us now, Commissioner Chad Brown. Commissioner, good to see you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
All right, what's your one-line sales pitch to voters who might not know you and why you think they should choose you?
Well, I think when you look at what's happening in our economy right now, we have a high inflation rate. We need to make sure we have businesses who can thrive and do things in North Carolina. I think I'm the best salesman for that. We've been doing it in Gaston County for the last 14 years as a commissioner, so my pedigree stands for itself. But I think when you look at North Carolina, we need to make sure that we have a robust economy continuing. But when we get through these pieces of the puzzle, we need to make sure that we're helping people to work through the system, because I think government and what's happening in the Secretary of State's office is a cumbersome system right now.
Speaking of, your opponent has been in the office for a long time, I think 30-something years, almost 30 years. Why do you think you could do something better?
Well, I think when you look at what's happening, I want to be involved. I want to make sure that we go and work with those entrepreneurs or those companies who are bringing economic development. I've been doing it for the last 14 years. The last 4 as chairman in Gaston County to make sure that we continue to help them get through the system. And when you help them hand in glove, when you can try to do things a little bit better with technology and what's happening right now, I think I got a better fix on that. And so I want to make sure we push that narrative to try to help the citizens and the entrepreneurs who want to start a business to get started in North Carolina.
Hard to believe, but there's not been a Republican Secretary of State, I think, in more than 100 years.
1877.
Which is wild when you consider we elect statewide Republicans and all sorts of things, but not for some reason Secretary of State. Why do you think that is?
I think when you look at what's happening as a whole, and that time it was appointed, it wasn't even elected at that time, but we've had a system in North Carolina where Republicans tend to not vote like they should. And I'm not saying they're not going to vote. They assume that they're going to lose because the Democrats did have a stronghold for a long time on all the Council of State races. And until I think Sherry Berry was the longest serving Republican who had a stronghold. So now we look forward to that. In 2010, the legislature and the General Assembly was turned over. So now I think you see some changes, and we're excited about 2024.
On your website and in some of your public appearances, you've been very outspoken about issues like the Second Amendment and being pro-life. There's also a lot of discussion about nationalizing our politics and how it's not necessarily positive for local issues. In your job, you'd be dealing with businesses and the government. Why wade into those issues?
Well, I think those are people want to know who you are. Those right there were just character backgrounds of a bio. They didn't have nothing to do with what we want to do as a business sector. When you look at what I want to do as a business sector, I want to change and have a better overview of that. But when you think about the Second Amendment, I am pro-Second Amendment. I'm pro-life. I'm a proud Republican. I'm a Christian. Yeah. So those are all bio issues that I want people to know who I am. And when you really delve into our website or any of our platforms or videos, you'll see who I really am and what we want to do for the sector of North Carolina businesses.
You had an interesting, rather non-conventional approach to fundraising, offering folks, I believe it was $50 to your campaign for a gun raffle, basically. Where did this come from, and would you consider it a success?
Well, I'd say it's been a success. We have a lot of people who want the right to bear arms, and one of the things that's happened, when you go out and you're trying to raise money for the Council of State, Secretary of State's not the sexiest office, I'll tell you, when you're trying to raise money. My opponent has put up, or the party that she's with, put up over $1 million to beat me. And I find that very heartening to say, hey, I am a viable opponent. So when you look at things that we do for the Second Amendment, I'm a pro-Second Amendment, love it. And I think America has spoken. And so when you ask about what we've raised on that, we've done very well to say our fundraising efforts were great.
You've talked about fostering a more vibrant business community. And we had the candidate in for Secretary of Labor, and he talked about the same sort of thing. How do you think you would do that?
Well, I think when you look at, we need to work hand in glove with these people who are doing business, not necessarily the ones that are coming, but the ones who are there now. We lose just as many businesses in a month that we actually bring in. So when you think about how I want to do it, I want to make sure that we put different stations. I want to petition the General Assembly to put a station over in the Asheville area, Charlotte area, Raleigh, and Wilmington, because you shouldn't have to drive 4 to 6 hours just to see somebody face to face to get your business started. You should be able to go in and work with them. But we want to have a mobile unit. So like the disaster that's hit, we want to make sure we do things differently than what's happening right now. I think we don't have a hands-on approach. And I think when you can go to a business owner or somebody who's putting their money up front, I think you need to work with them any way you can. I think that's what we're doing is successful in Gaston County. I have been attentive to their needs and listening to what they need, and that's what they're telling me they want. They talk about how cumbersome it is to get through the system just of a website. We're still using paper checks. There's a lot of ways that we can do things. It's a lot different, and I want to change that. I want to make sure that we're efficient in the way we do business in North Carolina, and I think we have a stronghold and a strong platform to do that.
You talked about it's not the sexiest position in the Council of State, and I know you've played baseball, you've been a mayor, you're a commissioner right now, chairman. How did you arrive on this specifically?
Well, I think when you looked at what I do as a I want to say my overview of life. You know, I've been a salesman, I've been in business, I've owned small business. I've tried to do things differently. And I think this is the one that hit the closest to what I most performed for. A lot of people said, oh, you should run for lieutenant governor or some other sector of the Council of State. I like where I'm at. I like the business sector, and I want to make, because it's the foundation. Small business is the foundation of this country. It's going to be the foundation of what we have in North Carolina. And we have to protect those rights and make sure we help these people.
All right, Commissioner Chad Brown. Commissioner, thanks for coming on.
Thank you
Best of
so
luck
much
on the
for having
campaign
me.
trail. We appreciate it.
If you head to the polls in North Carolina, you will see a question on whether to add a citizens-only voting amendment. But what does this mean, really? WCNC Charlotte's Megan Bragg verifies.
Well, voters in North Carolina will see this constitutional amendment on their ballot. It reads, constitutional amendment to provide that only a citizen of the United States who is 18 years of age and otherwise possesses the qualifications for voting shall be entitled to vote at any election in this state. So you can vote for or against it, but some people are confused about this amendment, asking us to clarify.
So to verify, we went to the U.S. Constitution, the North Carolina Constitution, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, and Mecklenburg County Elections Director Michael Dickerson. First, it's already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal and state elections.
Currently in North Carolina law and in federal law, only U.S. citizens are permitted to vote. Non-U.S. citizens are not permitted to vote in our elections.
The 14th Amendment of the United States requires people to be born or naturalized in the United States in order to vote. The current North Carolina Constitution states every person born in the United States and every person who has been naturalized and is 18 years of age as long as they meet the qualifications can vote. According to the U.S. Citizen and Immigration Service, a naturalized citizen is someone who moved here and became a citizen. The amendment, if approved by voters, would take out the word naturalized. But those who are naturalized are already citizens, so they would still be able to vote. But there are concerns from some groups that it could cause confusion. But for now, we wanted to make it clear that yes, right now it is illegal if you are not a citizen of the United States to vote. With your Verify, I'm Megan Bragg.
As we count down the days until Decision 2024, we want to make sure that you're prepared to cast your vote. Text the word election to 704-329-3600, and we'll send you to our 2024 election guide right to your phone. Don't forget to join us here on WCNC Plus. On election night, we'll have live coverage starting at 7 p.m. when polls close. Our team of reporters and experts will be breaking down the races as results roll in across the Carolinas. I'm Colin Mayfield. Thanks so much for joining us here on WCNC Plus. The news continues right now.